So for those of you who are early adopters of the Porsche Taycan, you may have been sitting on the sidelines wondering, am I going to be able to get the latest software that I've been seeing on some of these newer Porsche Taycans? Well, Porsche just released that the answer is going to be yes. So today we're going to be discussing what are some of those updates that we can find on the model year 2020, 2021, and 2022 Porsche Taycan. So let's go ahead and get into it. So since the release of the Porsche Taycan in 2020, Porsche has delivered just about 75,000 Taycans. Now that is a lot of Taycans for such a smaller boutique company as Porsche. Now Porsche is going to be calling this update coming to the Taycans as the update with a capital P. Now for those of you who saw my VIN decoder video just about 2 years ago, we know that the 10th digit in a VIN stands for the model year that that particular car is. So for model year 23, it is a P. So that's why Porsche is doing update with a capital P, is we're bringing the model year 20, 21, and 22 vehicles up to 23 standards. Now, what are some of these updates that we're going to find as part of this update? Well, I'm sure a lot of you have seen what the PCM looks like for what we call cluster 37. Has a bunch of colored tiles there on the left-hand side. Increased responsiveness, a revised user interface. For those of you who have the heads-up display, which was after model year 2021, there is now map updates to the heads-up display, as well as some more updates that we'll be getting a little bit later. We also have native Spotify integration. So of course you have to have a Spotify account, but you can just log in without having to do it from your phone. It can all be done from the PCM. For those Android users, we're now going to be able to have wireless Android Auto coming to these 2021 and 22 Taycans. So without having to actually plug it in, it'll now all be wireless. We'll also be able to have the charging stations can now be filtered by power output. So let's say that you're looking for a charging station, you can now filter it by how much power output the charging station has. So you can find those charging stations that have higher outputs so you can charge your Taycan faster. You'll also be able to use your onboard owner's manual via the Porsche Voice Pilot or voice control to be able to find anything in the owner's manual without having to go through or even flip through the good to know manual. Now there's quite a few updates that are coming to the Taycan's powertrain as part of this update. So the largest update has to do with the all-wheel drive models, and with the all-wheel drive models, the front electric motor will be decoupled in partial load range and in range in driving modes. And with this, it's going to actually increase the Taycan's overall range, because now we're not going to be full-time using that front motor. So that's going to happen if you're going to be coasting. If you're sitting at a stoplight, that front motor is going to be decoupled. And then of course, if you're in the normal or range mode, just under partial throttle, it is going to be decoupled. Now, let's say you want to accelerate really hard in either range or normal mode. Within about 20 milliseconds, that front motor is going to be able to be recoupled, and of course you'll be able to accelerate very, very quickly. Now going hand in hand with this is now if you're looking at the instrument cluster, the all-wheel drive indicator is now going to show the amount of power that's going between the front as well as the rear wheels. So if you're just kind of cruising, you'll now just see most of the power all to those rear wheels. And again, this is to increase range so that you're not using all this unnecessary power to the front motor on all of the all-wheel drive Taycans. For some of you who've been using the recuperation mode, either in auto or on, now it's going to save to whatever mode you had saved it to as you go through the different drive modes. So for example, let's say that you're in the normal mode and you have the auto recuperation on. If you switch over to sport mode, the auto recuperation mode is still going to stay the same. In the past, if you were in normal mode, you had it in auto recuperation, you switched over to sport, it would get rid of that setting that you had for recuperation. So this is just another one of the updates that is coming to the Taycan. Another larger update has to do with the overall thermal management of the Taycan. So the battery can be preconditioned faster into a higher temperature. This allows for optimum charging curve performance at a higher state of charge. So the Taycan is going to be able to charge a little bit quicker. This is especially going to be apparent when the car is at very lower temperatures, or the battery is for that matter, that the car is going to be able to increase the battery temperature so that the car charges even a little bit quicker. So that's a really, really nice update. Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, it seems like I've got all the updates of the model year 2023. There's one major thing that came to the Taycan in model year 2021. So for those of you who have 2020s, you're still going to be missing something that's called plug-in charge, which is a really, really nice feature. You go to an Electrify America charging station, you take the plug it straight into your Taycan without having to use the My Porsche app, and the car automatically starts to charge. This is still not going to be available via this update. So you would now have to do what we would have to actually retrofit something called the onboard 22 kilowatt charger. And this would be at your own expense, but this will bring something that we call plug-in charge, as well as, of course, being able to charge a little bit faster if you're at a home station or if you're at just a little bit quicker charging station, maybe on the go. So if you want to add plug-in charge, you're going to have to retrofit the 22 kilowatt onboard charger at your local Porsche store. Not sure of the pricing of that, so you'll have to check with your local Porsche dealer. But that is the only thing for model year 20 that you will not be able to get as part of this update. For those of you who are in Europe and around the world, comfort access was not standard on the Taycan. So now you'll be able to download via FOD or function on demand the comfort access to your Taycan. For those of you who have seen my FOD video, it's very, very cool. You just log into my Porsche account. You can go to the functions that are available to your Taycan, and now you'll be able to download comfort access, which is just the ability to have the key in your pocket and walk up to your Taycan, and the door handles will automatically unlock and you just hop in the car and start the car. So that is something that now you'll be able to do if you're in Europe. And we're also going to have an expansion of over-the-air services. We're not exactly sure what all those are going to include quite yet, but I'm sure we'll be getting a list here pretty shortly. But that pretty much wraps up all of the updates that we can find as part of this update from Porsche for the model year 2020, 2021, and 2022 Porsche Taycans.